On March 15, 44 BCE, 23 knife wounds ended the life of Gaius Julius Caesar, but they could not kill what he had already become. As his blood pooled on the Senate floor at the foot of Pompey's statue, the conspirators believed they had saved the Roman Republic. Instead, they had just guaranteed its transformation into the greatest empire the world had ever seen. Caesar's leadership revolution was so profound that his name would become synonymous with absolute power for the next 2 millennia. Echoing through history as Kaiser and Tsar, today we're exploring how Caesar's genius made him invincible even in death. Let's get started. The politician who rewrote the rules of power. When Caesar returned to Rome in 46, he was at the height of his powers, having just crushed the Pompeian remnants at the Battle of Munda. But instead of using this victory to crush his enemies and seize dictatorial power, he did something unprecedented. He stood for election as consul, the highest office in the Roman Republic. But in doing so, he didn't just pay lip service to tradition. He actively engaged in politics to advance his agenda. This wasn't the first time Caesar had held the consulship. He'd previously served in 59 alongside Pompey and Crassus, forming the first triumvirate. But now he ran on his own terms, having defeated Pompey's forces and eliminated his rivals. Most importantly, he bypassed the Senate and appealed directly to the people. This may seem unremarkable today, but in Republican Rome, it was shockingly audacious. Senators viewed themselves as inherently superior and disengaged from the common folk. But Caesar understood something they missed. In a world where military might and political cunning intersected, traditional Roman aristocracy had become obsolete. While senators clung to centuries-old protocols and privilege, Caesar forged an entirely new model of leadership that combined populist appeal, strategic brilliance, and ruthless pragmatism. His genius was in just military, though, conquering all of Gaul and crossing the Rubicon with a single legion. Demonstrated tactical mastery that still influences military academies today. Caesar's true revolutionary insight was recognizing that lasting power required the loyalty of 3 distinct groups: the army, the people, and the provinces. Previous Roman leaders had focused on senatorial approval. Caesar bypassed the Senate entirely, creating a direct relationship with those who actually controlled Rome's future. The numbers tell the story of his transformative impact. During his consulship and subsequent campaigns, Caesar distributed land to over 120,000 veterans, provided grain subsidies to 300,000 Roman citizens, and extended citizenship to entire Gallic tribes. These weren't mere populist gestures, they were calculated investments in a new form of Roman identity that transcended traditional class boundaries. But here's where Caesar's leadership becomes truly fascinating. He simultaneously expanded Roman territory by nearly a third, while fundamentally reimagining what it meant to be Roman. His policy of clemency toward defeated enemies, integration of conquered peoples, and massive infrastructure projects created a template for imperial administration that would endure for centuries. The strategic mastermind who understood human nature, Caesar's leadership philosophy centered on a radical concept: loyalty earned through shared prosperity rather than fear. His famous clemency, pardoning enemies who had fought against him, wasn't weakness, but calculated psychology. By demonstrating that opposing Caesar didn't mean death, he removed the existential terror that drove desperate resistance movements. His relationship with his legions reveals perhaps his most important leadership innovation. Unlike traditional Roman commanders who maintained rigid social distance, Caesar shared hardships with his soldiers, learned their names, and ensured their financial security. When he crossed the Rubicon, his men followed not because they feared him, but because he had made their success inseparable from his own. Caesar's famous speed arriving before enemies expected him, completing campaigns in impossible timeframes, wasn't just tactical advantage. It was psychological warfare that created an aura of inevitability around his victories. Opponents began surrendering before fighting, knowing that Caesar's reputation made resistance futile. The death that guaranteed eternal life. The assassination that ended Caesar's biological life ironically ensured his political immortality. The conspirators fatally misunderstood that Caesar had already transcended individual mortality by institutionalizing his leadership model. As adopted heir, Octavian didn't just inherit Caesar's name, he inherited a proven system for wielding absolute power while maintaining popular legitimacy. Within 15 years of Caesar's death, Octavian had become Augustus, the first Roman emperor, ruling through the exact mechanisms Caesar had pioneered: military loyalty, popular support, and provincial integration. The Roman Republic died with Caesar, but the Roman Empire emerged stronger, because Caesar had already solved the fundamental problem of how to govern a diverse, continent-spanning civilization. Caesar's legend didn't end with the fall of Rome. His model of combining military prowess with political innovation influenced leaders from Napoleon to modern democratic executives. The title Caesar became so synonymous with supreme authority that it survived the fall of Rome itself, adopted by German Kaisers and Russian Tsars, who claimed descent from his legacy. The ultimate proof of Caesar's leadership influence? Assassins killed the man but empowered the system. Every Roman emperor for the next 500 years claimed Caesar's name and authority. His leadership revolution was so complete that destroying Caesar only proved how indispensable his innovations had become. In death, Julius Caesar achieved what no living ruler ever could. He became the eternal foundation of imperial power, forever shaping how civilizations understand the relationship between leader and empire. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider supporting us. As always, thanks for watching.